Good morning, everyone. My name is Sharon Whiteman, and it's my great pleasure and privilege to be here every week with each and every one of you, and obviously my colleagues, Diana Hunter and Gary Knapp. We love being with you, and we're very gifted today with our guest speaker. Very lucky to have Sinead Pollock, the General Manager of Manatech Australasia. I'll just give you a little bit about Sinead's background. She brings with her extensive experience in network marketing with a strong sales and business development focus. She's Irish, she's older than she used to be, and she's obsessed with her 3-year-old Dashan Gigi, who may is that home under her feet and may bark, and we'll look forward to hearing that because this is a family affair. It's a family affair on Saturdays. Sinead is passionate about partnering with the field with a strategic vision for the future of Manatech. Everyone's vision of success in partnership with Manatech is unique, fluid, and always evolving. Sinead is dedicated to assisting us to execute our vision. And this morning, we're going to be doing a year in review, what's left to accomplish, and looking forward to a bright 2025. So Sinead, God bless you, and thank you for being here.
Well, good morning, Sharon, and thank you for that intro. I'll send the check. And I do apologize. My Dashie is now 4. She turned 4 on Thursday. And normally, if I was doing a call, my husband would be distracting her, because if anybody's ever had a dash hound, they bark at nothing for no reason whatsoever. But Dave is in Ireland at the moment. Just watching Ireland be beaten by the All Blacks, but we won't talk about that at all. So I have my little bag of treats on hand just in case, but I think she'll be good. She's asleep. She's had a very busy week. It's a hard life being a spoiled doggy.
Sinead, I'm going to go off camera, but
Yep. I'm going to ask you a question though, but I'll come to it because I always want to start these calls thanking Sharon and Gary and Diana, not only for having me on, but for everything they do and their ongoing commitment and support to our community. I think their dedication has truly made a difference, and we definitely are all better because of each and every single one of you. But it made me think about the question, Sharon, how long have you been doing this call?
oh, it's over 15 years, I'd say.
Do you remember the first date of your first ever call?
No, I don't. I remember I used to do it with Glenn Bolton
Okay.
before Gary, and we started after we um, we were trained by Tim Altvader and Kevin Robbins in the US, Glenn and I, and
Yeah.
we were working with their calls, and Glenn and I decided that Australasia needed it as well. So we brought it to here, and huge thanks, all credit to Kevin and Tim Altvader in the coaching and training they did with us, because it's well, we're a community. It's
Yes.
really important for us to come together and to celebrate what we have and to learn more and be the best we can be.
So I'm going to say, if anybody's on the call watching and they remember the first ever call, because we've got a lot of veterans in our midst. I was just curious. I love a little bit of history. I'm always looking to the future, but I love a little bit of history. So I'd love to see. I've got some notes up to keep me on track, because I'm sure some of you know my mind can wander. So I won't see the chat until the end. But if
Oh,
anybody
creativity.
remembers, thank you. Okay, that check just got bigger, Sharon. Thank you. So my thought process around today's call really came about because I suppose it's that time of the year when you start thinking about next year. And to be fair, we've been working on the plans for next year for quite some time. And I think it's really hard to believe that the year goes so fast. It feels like one moment it's Christmas, and then in the blink of an eye, it's Christmas again. And yes, I do know that a lot of you think I'm crazy for putting my Christmas tree in October. I'm okay with that. It makes me happy. It's a little thing. And you can call me crazy if you like, but I will probably aim for September next year. I'm just kidding. I think Dave would actually have a heart attack. But with all that planning, it kind of makes you stop and think. When we look at where we are and where we want to go, we kind of said, what did we do in that month, and what did we do then? And it makes you think, what did we actually do this year? And when I sat back and looked back, I kind of feel that we have achieved and experienced a lot. And some of them are little things and some of them are bigger things, but you put it all together and it's actually been a jam-packed year. So when I look at it, I came back on board on January the 8th. In that time, we've had 3 incentive trips, 1 to Phuket, 1 to the Yarra Valley, and 1 to Bangkok for the Thailand grand opening. We did a Luminovation Roadshow in 6 locations, and a shout out to Wellington for having the best attended event. It was a wonderful collaboration and effort by Colleen Ryan, Diandra and Gloria Headage, and Ilse and Jerry van der Linde. And we did 4 momentum training days on a Saturday. And again, thank you for everybody that came and trained and were part of making those days so special. And we had 4 Healthy Living Expo events. Okay. And with all of these, we kind of had a lot of firsts, which is hard to believe in a 26-year-old business. And when I think about first, I think, you know, on all 3 of the incentive trips, we had people attending their first ever incentive. And I don't know about you, but I love that. I love those firsts. It's a great experience for somebody. In Phuket, we had Anthony, Robin, Nicole, Anne-Marie, and Katrina, all first-time attendees. In the Yarra, it was a first time for On and for Ilse and Jerry in New Zealand. And in Bangkok, it was a first time for Avalon, Dennis, and Justin Price. Again, another first time attending an event and are experiencing, earning, achieving, and then having that wonderful experience of an incentive. And to me, that's it. We need more firsts. We want to be celebrating more people doing things for the first time. Now, I should also point out when I thought about that, the common denominator for all 3 incentives, who earned all 3, were Bella and Vincent. So again, a huge shout out to Bella and Vincent, earned all 3 events and had team members alongside them each time. Huge achievement, and it is so important. You know, when you look at an incentive, it's great to earn it for yourself, but it's so much more uplifting, inspiring, motivating, whatever words you want to use, to bring team members with you and you have that experience together. And also being alongside a team member who's having their first ever experience, it's just watching their enjoyment, how they engage. And sometimes they're a little bit nervous, but I kind of find within our community that wears off very, very quickly. So when you look at that, that's a lot of in-person events, that's a lot of trainings, and we can tell they make a difference. Aren't we better for it? Didn't it feel good to see each other and to be inspired at each other again and just to connect with our community? So we will do more in-person events because we know they matter. We have heard you, the smiles on people's faces, the connection, the inspiration, what comes after the event is quite often more important than the event itself. I do want to stop though and do a shout out, and if I say your surname wrong when you watch this later, to Hayden Lolahe from New Zealand. Hayden, he's in Colleen Ryan's team, our good friend Colleen Ryan from Hamilton, came along to the Melbourne Momentum training. He'd never met any of us. He happened to be in Melbourne at the same time, and he came and he had a great time and we loved meeting him. And I think we know that when somebody who's not met us before steps into our community, that we're going to open our arms and welcome them and embrace them. So it was really, really terrific to meet him face to face. So yes, I'm harping on about in-person events. Virtual events are awesome. And they're the things that can really help us when we have busy lives and we can go back and watch recordings. But in person truly, truly, truly makes a difference. And for your new person, quite often, it allows them to see the bigger picture. Because sometimes they're just talking to you. But when they step into the room, they see all the support, all the love, all the knowledge, all the support that's there for them. And it does really open their eyes. And to be fair, selfishly, for myself, and I would say for Andrew and for Poppy, who came at Healthy Living, we always learn something. We go home with our hearts full. We go home with great feedback and things that we can use to work on where we go next. So, you know, maybe I'm just a little bit selfish. I'm just going to say this. It was wonderful after a 3rd trip to Brisbane to finally see you, Bev Walker, and give you that big hug I was dying to give you. It means a lot when we connect with you face to face. So that was the events side of things. From a corporate perspective, I feel we made lots of little improvements and we're continuing to do so. I personally feel our communication has improved for one. but we're always looking at how we can do better. We are working on our planning every day. I would like us to be further ahead, and sometimes I feel we get ahead and then we kind of come back, and it's going to be like that for a while, but we are aiming always to be ahead, make sure that you're aware and you know what's coming, where it's relative. Like, for example, we posted the Tuesday Business Booster schedule for the whole year ahead of time. We're working on that for 2025 also. But again, we want to do those things so it'll help you plan your year for next year. And let's talk about Tuesday Business Booster. All right, we've covered so much, and I have to say, Andrew Hutchinson on our team does a terrific job with these. But when I think back to Tuesday Business Booster, two things immediately come to mind. Okay. Storytelling nights. Storytelling is vital in what we do. Now, I'm not referring to great novelistic style of Ernest Hemingway or Charles Dickens, but rather to the real, the relatable, the raw and emotional narratives that resonate with us, right? These stories serve as powerful reminders of the resources we hold and the profound difference we can make. So if you've stepped out of your comfort zone on one of our storytelling nights, or you were voluntold, sorry, but there you go. Thank you, because you have made a difference. Because opening up about your thoughts and your journey is not always easy. But when you do, when you take that leap of faith in yourself and understand that your story can make a difference, it reveals the true possibilities that are available to all of us and to so many more. And I want you to hold on to the fact that your story makes a difference. If I had $1 for every time I've heard, nobody wants to hear my story, I don't feel I have a story, they've all heard it before. Like, you know how many times I hear that? How do I say this nicely? Bite me. Like, bite me. It makes a difference. It truly makes a difference. On those calls, we've laughed, we've cried, we've been uplifted, our eyes have been opened, we've been reminded. Right? Remember that. Think about how you felt once you've shared, or think about how somebody's story has impacted you. It makes a difference. Those storytelling nights was not an accident. It wasn't us going, we don't have a speaker, what will we do? They were intentional, because it was served as a reminder to the difference we make, the incredible products that we have, the difference they've made in people's lives, and the difference the business makes in people's lives. There used to be an old statistic, and I don't remember what year and exact amounts, but it used to say that for the sake of $200 or $300 a month, somebody would go bankrupt. And that doesn't feel like a lot of money unless you don't have it. And if you can show somebody how they can get their products paid for, or how they can share something that they love with others so they can get, an income, it may pay your rego for the year. It may give your kids swimming lessons. It may just allow you to do something that's been on your list forever and ever, and you didn't have the ability to do it. It's whatever you want it to be. So those storytelling nights are really, really powerful. And I want you to think about that and how you share the difference that it's made to you, because we want you to share. Let's be clear, we want you to share. The other thing with the Tuesday Business Booster that comes to mind is Karen Dennis. Bronze Presidential Karen Dennis. Karen came to us with a powerful vision to help people learn how they can make money, and in turn, how they can show someone how to earn money. Her collaboration with Andrew on this initiative has been incredible. And the other side is it showcases what's possible when corporate and you all work together in partnership. It creates something really, really wonderful. So Karen, we are so thankful that you came to us with this idea. It's given us a resource because they're recorded. You can go back and watch it. And each time they do it, they take it a step further. And yes, this is also me saying Tuesday the 12th, Karen and Andrew will be at it again. Mark your diary, don't miss it. And if you do miss it, go back and watch the recording. And if you missed the last one, the recording's already available, right? So again, things that I think we've done really, really well this year. Now, when you speak of training, and we mentioned him earlier, we have to mention the man, the myth, the legend that is Dr. Nugent. Having Dr. Nugent give us his time monthly has been wonderful. It's been educational and inspiring all at once. It really cements our belief in the product, and it builds the belief in the company and what we offer and what we stand for, you know. And for those of us that were lucky to spend time with him in Bangkok, I'm going to say we were blown away. I have never, ever, and I've done a lot of road shows with Dr. Nugent in my time, seen him like this. At one point, I kind of leaned back in my chair. Kelly Abrahamson was behind me and she leaned in. And at the same time, we went, wow, he's on fire. It was incredible. And so I look forward to a time that maybe he'll be ready to come and down and visit us again. But if you're going to manifest, you're going to see him. Let's put it that way. If you're going to manifest, you are going to see him. So we are working with Dr. Nugent and the US team to see how we can schedule again for next year. We see the value in Dr. Nugent more than you can ever realize. It is, we are blessed. I think we can all agree. And if you're in agreeing with me, just put some love hearts in the chat for Dr. Nugent. And when you get off this call, you know, keep him in your prayers. I please urge you keep him in your prayers. The other thing we had this year is we had a major change at head office, obviously. Al Bala stepped into retirement, and a huge thank you to Al for all the wonderful years with Manatech. He has an energy that is unmatched. You know, I've seen Al go from one side of the stage to the other, and it's like the Energizer bunny that's had far too many Manaboom, but he is absolutely passionate. He has an energy that is unmatched and a heart for all of you and what you do. And with Al retiring, the baton was passed to Landon Frederick to take over this chapter in our Manatech lives. Now, Landon, if you're unaware, has his own personal story with Manatech, and in particular, the difference the products made to his mom's health. But I will allow Landon, if you've not heard that story, to share that himself at some time in the future. We are working and trying to get Landon on a call before the end of the year, all going according to plan. But Landon has a strong vision. He believes in us. He believes in what we do, what we have in our hands, and the unique product technologies we have pioneered. Landon believes that multi-glycans, and let me put out there, ambertose is a multi-glycan, should be and will be as common as a multivitamin. And what he means by that is that we have an opportunity to raise awareness to such a level that by just saying the words multi-glycan, like we do multivitamin, and nowadays how we used to talk about probiotics, people will understand what that means, and it will trigger, oh yeah, I know something about that. I know that word. I know what it means. Tell me more. So maybe other people will bring out multi-glycans, but we're the only one with ambertose, and we're the only one with manopole. So it would put us in a really good spot. And his aim is that we elevate ourselves up there, that the time is now, that it is, let's bring our story to the world and make a difference. Now, that's a lot already. I feel I'm exhausted already. I'm not, right? That's a lot when you think about the year. But we did new bundles. You spoke and we listened. I have to say I called one or two of them behind the scenes, the Mandakini bundle, because she had some great ideas. And also behind the scenes, we're working on our materials. Like, I'm going to be honest, how do I put this nicely? The library sucks sometimes. There's just so much in there. We've cleaned out a lot. Our aim is to do more. We've taken out the old stuff. We will do more of that. And we want to continuously update the content that's in the library to make sure you have the latest information, that it's accurate and that it's correct. And not only that you have the right information, but also that that's represented in all our other platforms. So if you see it on a product description sheet, for example, in the library, it matches what's on our website. So there are little gaps there. We are working to clean that up. It is a big job, I'm not going to lie, but there are things moving behind the scenes. We are working on improving how our price list looks, and in particular, how you see the bundles. We've created a new design. It's just a matter of getting it all in and up to date. And that will be coming very, very soon. We've done a whole lot of photography because we want to try and get clearer, better images. Sometimes we feel what we're sharing looks a bit dark and not always highlights our products in the best way from an aesthetic point of view. And did you see we put out some new weight management bundles yesterday? We're super, super excited about those. And I'm going to let some of you into a secret. Well, those of you on the call anyway, we will be doing a weight loss challenge in the coming months. I'll give you more information when we have it all locked down, but we have heard the response that we haven't done one in a long time. There seemed to be a feeling that because of the TGA, we couldn't. Well, yes, we can, and yes, we are going to. So if you're watching now and this is a wow for you or an exciting part for you, start making a list of people maybe you want to talk to about this. Who in your team? Maybe you do it together. How can you start this journey? So I want you to think about all of that. Is that it? Oh, I think we all know my favorite subject. We all know my favorite subject. My favorite subject, manifest. Manifest, manifest, manifest. We love manifest. We're excited about manifest. We want to go to manifest. We want you to come to manifest. It'll be 7 years by the time we get there. A lot has happened in those 7 years. And the last global manifest was in 2018. It's about time. I think we're ready. We want you to come, whether it's going to be reacquainting with old friends, making new connections, whether you're a first timer or you've been to 27 and you have all the jackets, including the dry as a bone in your wardrobe. We want you to come. And this, there's an incentive in place. You can earn it, but manifest has always been that incentive. You can just decide to go at the last minute if you're happy to pay your way. I do have it under good authority. There'll be an M5M packing party. That's always been a big highlight for us. I'm laughing. I can just see the chat now because I've put my notes down. Lynn, I treasure my dry as a bone. Somebody, I love the entrepreneurial spirit, thought it was too big to bring back in their suitcase, though they sold them to Americans. That made me laugh. And we are working on jackets. If you've seen the incentive, we did build that into the incentive that you can earn your jacket. If you ain't going to manifest, you don't get a jacket. I'll be very clear. It is for manifest only. We want you there. We want you to feel the love. We want you to feel the spirit. We want you to have that experience. And there are so many reasons other than that. Dr. Nugent, hearing from Landon, hearing from old friends, new friends, up and coming leaders. We love the recognition part of it. I'm going to tell you that are that way inclined. Apparently, across the freeway from the hotel, there's an outlet mall. I know that makes everybody excited. No, Kelly, the color is not locked in. We are not doing leopard print and or gold as was suggested to me while we were in Bangkok. I asked the question when we were all in Thailand for the grand opening. I said, manifest jackets, any thought on color? I was sorry I asked. There was 9 people with me. I think I got 127 different answers. So it's not gold. It was a bit too shiny, and we're definitely not doing leopard print, but nice try, everybody. But again, if you can find a way to make it happen, I would urge you to, but I will tell you there will be other events up and coming in next year that you will have the opportunity to attend and learn from. Sharon, I'm going to throw back to questions, but I want to hit a couple of things first, because I know the questions I'm going to get, and sorry for that sounds bad, but I know I'm going to get a couple of questions. I know you're going to ask me about the Manitech Science website. I do not have a firm answer on that yet. Head office and Landon in particular have shared that they are working on it, but I don't have any timelines for it yet. For those of you again that were in Thailand that got to have breakfast with Landon, it did come up. You did hear he say it is something that they are working on. It became a challenge to keep it going just because we didn't have the right personnel to do that. It is not something that anybody can just look after. It has become apparent from all the markets how well used it was. So it is something that they are working on. The other question I'm sure that you're going to ask me is about some back orders and Ambertose complex in particular. Yes, it is still on back order, right? I know back orders are challenging. We work on this every day. Sindhu and Amit on our team, I have them driven demented. We sit down and we look and see how we can make it happen any faster. With Ambertose Complex, there was a delay in a raw ingredient. And because of who we are, we don't just swap it out for something else, right? We never gamble with quality. We never gamble with quality. What I will say, it is in the final stage of the production. Fortunately, it is one of the products that's made here in Australia. So it's made out in Western Sydney direction. It is due for completion by late next week. What happens once it's completed is the last of the quality checks have to happen. We do not release a product into inventory until all the quality checks are done. It gets moved from the manufacturing plant to our warehouse. The manufacturer does quality checks also at the same time through the wonder of FedEx and overnighting. Samples get sent to our quality team at the lab in head office. They do the final checks and then they're released into the system. I would hope that it will be with us in the coming weeks, and I will keep you updated. Manipole, for anybody asking about Manipole, it is in transit. Okay. I'm expecting that it will have hit Australia by possibly Monday or Tuesday. And then it gets released to customs because it's coming from outside Australia. Sometimes the answer to the question, how long will that take, is how long is a piece of string? We have seen customs clear it in a day, in 48 hours. We've seen it take a week. We've seen it take longer. It quite often is down to how much they're processing and what other stuff is coming at the same time. But once it's released from customs, it moves very quickly into our warehouse. It has to get, again, receipted into inventory and cleared. So again, Emmett will tell you, the poor boy, he does a stock status report for me every single week, and we talk about it every single day. Rhonda, I would expect it to be before the Christmas rush. I can honestly answer, yes, I would expect that to be before the Christmas rush. So I do not expect these items to still be in back order by the end of November. That's the clearest way I can put it. But yes, I don't want to give an exact date because there are always things that we can't control. And so the other thing I will say to you is, we know these are challenges. I'm not going to be fair, a lot of these times I I do a lot of this because I know the impact they're doing this, that this has on your business. But trust me, these are things sometimes, beyond our control. The movement of product does not move as easily as it did pre-COVID. It's one of the hangovers from it. It just, people change processes, they become over convoluted, and they kind of never changed back. So they're the kind of things we're dealing with, but we are working to make sure these are less and less and less. Now, you heard me mention Sindhu and Amit, but I want to say I'm very, very fortunate. I have an incredible team. Most of you have met Andrew, and some of you will have met Poppy either in the Yarra or the Healthy Living Expo or the launch Illumination. Our local team make my life easier, and I'm very grateful and thankful for all of them. We have some fun. You can laugh, you can joke. They take their roles very seriously. Their aim is always to make life easier for you, and sometimes it may not feel like it. But they work really, really, really hard. Our customer service team is being headed up by Banji. Banji stepped into that supervisor role, and I feel he's stepped up, and I can see a difference in him. We have two incredible customer service reps that work from the Philippines for us, Jamila and Kevin. I've appreciated the really good feedback that we've had on them, and I really feel we've got the right team in place to take us to the next level. Oh, I nearly forgot Jessica, the woman that pays commissions. How could I forget Jessica? We have an incredible team. But one thing I want to say to you is I want to talk about Andrew's role. Right? Andrew's there to support you. If you don't know how to do your tracker or you don't know how to work on the incentive, call Andrew. If you're having a day where you feel your business isn't going the way it wants, call Andrew. Right? I was going to put his address on up on the screen, but I think he wouldn't forgive me. He'd move. No, but we're here to support you. His role is to be, the business development role has always been, in the office, you're the advocate for the field, in the field, you're the advocate for corporate. And so, you know, that's a role where we rely on an influx of feedback and information and what we feel is needed going forward. You know, because we've done in-person events, we've got a lot of good feedback. We've got requests for more training around leadership development. There's been conversations about personal development. There's been different things we've been hearing that is going to help shape how we move into 2025 and the things we do next year. So I just wanted to put those questions out there because I knew there were going to be questions. Sharon, have I missed anything? Is there anything in the chat that I need to look at?
There's one you forgot. Can you explain the loss of vanilla?
Honestly, sales. Of the 2 shakes, chocolate sold better. And we had to make a business decision. Personally, I'm devastated because my breakfast was always the vanilla. I had chocolate for lunch, but my breakfast was always vanilla. I'm not saying we can't ever bring it back. I'm saying we have to be further along than we are right now. But what I will tell you is up to the end of the 3rd quarter of this year, we're ahead on last year's enrollments, which is a good sign. We're ahead on 2022's enrollments, which is a good sign. Just because of our business and the way people were viewing it, we were predicted to end up at a certain number by the end of the year. We're ahead of that right now. So the signs are really good. The signs are really good. We are going in the right direction, but it is going to take some time. And so how do we go in the right direction? Go tell somebody your story. I think sometimes it's just as simple as that. We overcomplicate it. We say, I don't know what to do and I don't know what to say. Go tell somebody your story. See the difference it makes. Right. So we are heading in the right track. And I will say this, and I've shared this with some of you. When Warren and I started talking about me stepping back into Manitech, I knew who I was going to meet, right? I knew the weird, the wonderful, and the crazies. And if you're not sure which category you fall into, I'm going to tell you it's a crazy, just assume. But I wanted to see the business. And so I signed an agreement to see the business. And there's a lot of good here. And there's good stuff here. It will have felt flat for a lot of you during COVID. And somebody said to me, you know, sometimes it's hard to be excited after 20 years because it's become your day-to-day routine and it's your habit. It's a normal part of your life. But what if I told you you couldn't get Ambertos? What if I told you you couldn't get Plus? You'd hunt me down and you'd stab me. You'd run me over with your shopping trolley or whatever was closest to your hand. So, you know, let's be excited about it. And I think realistically doing these in-person events, we've seen the passion and the energy out there. We've just been a little bit quiet for the last few years. I've said this from the beginning, you're the best trained associates in any company in our industry. We just need to put some rhythm back into our businesses. And I really stand behind that. And you can see it happening. You can see it. Our rank ups have started to improve. We're seeing new names for people enrolling. These are the things we look at because we've been around for 26 years. We want to be a legacy business. We want to be here for another 50 or 100 years. But to do that, we need to find new people. Because I don't know about any of you, but I ain't getting any younger. I was in my 30s when I started at Manitech, and I now start with a 5. You know, so we do need to find some more people that can continue what we've built once we've decided we're retiring when we're 94, right? Yes, I got to get out more. I love that. Wait till you start with a 7. Rhonda, you don't look it, love. I've never seen anybody with more energy than you. I can't keep up with you on Facebook. I really. Rhonda's the busiest person I know, and it always looks like she's having the best time. So whatever you're taking, Rhonda, keep doing it. Any other questions, Sharon?
Is there any hope for a replacement for the Penny app? Any plans?
Yes, there is actually some behind the scenes conversation. There was a call we were invited to, but it was 3 a.m. Needless to say, Andrew and I didn't go to that. They are working for something. I don't have a timeline at this point. They had found another company that they were interested in working with. And I think if Ben Mayo has to look for another app, I think he's just going to cry. But in fairness, what we saw, we were impressed with. I just don't have timelines yet, but yes, they are looking at something.
And a refresher on where the Business Booster recordings are stored.
Usually in the library, I believe. Drew also puts a link in the Manitech Australasia business group community when it's live. Manassi, will it return? That's a big question. I'll always say, I'll say never say never, but right now, no. Right? I'm not going to lie. When I went to Adelaide for the Healthy Living Expo, I think 3 people hit me over the head with Manassi. And I said to somebody, it annoys me. And he said, oh, I don't mean to annoy you. And I said, no, it annoys me that it's no longer here. It was a very unique product. And of everything that's gone away, it's probably the one I hear most about. How do I say this politely? It annoys me. It made no sense. I don't know if any of you remember Betty Agraviador, who used to be our old business development and marketing director. Betty still orders product and she reached out and said, oh, I need to get some Manassi. And I had to say, we don't have it anymore. And she kind of, I'm not saying she swore at me, but Betty was famous for giving one word answer about this long, and it was bleep, bleep, bleep.
In a couple languages.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly right. A couple of languages, figure out what they are. So it is the one product that personally annoyed me, right? Personally annoyed me. I actually have a bottle of it sitting on my desk. Because it serves as a reminder that I don't want us to be in a position that we discontinue anything else. I can't promise that, but it serves as that reminder. What I will say to you is when I look at all the products that we've lost, and there's been a few, we know that, some of them you really couldn't argue with it compared with the sales. Some of them sold better than others. Some of them, it was, okay, I don't have a leg to stand on to try and make any headway with that. So you do have to make business decisions. But what I will say to you is no matter what we've brought out to the market, any guesses to our 2 highest selling products? See who's fastest fingers with a question like that? If you're fast and you get it
Plus
right,
and Ambertoast.
Okay, well, not for you. What did it in the chat? I was going to give a prize away and everything. You just ruined.
Oh no, but somebody said it in
okay.
Look
Yes.
in the chat. There you go.
Ambertoast and Plus. Now,
Avalon first.
Interestingly, when you put Ambertoast Life and Complex together, they're the biggest seller. If you split them up as individuals, Plus sells more, right? And I have to say, well done, everybody. We got a very big reaction to the 2 Plus get a free omega-3 promotion. That went really, really well. So if you were out there and you were sharing that and you got excited about that, great job. I was first. Kelly, not a competition. I'll say, send.
Oh, I see. M plus. You missed the B. And Avalon missed the P.
Send Kelly a medal.
Rhonda spelled it correct.
Yes. So like Plus, an incredible product. And to be fair, I know some of you take more Plus than it says on the bottle. I will only ever tell you to take what's on the bottle, but we do know people do take more of that product. I will say to you too, keep your eye out. Black Friday, Cyber Monday is coming. That's all I'll say to you. Keep your eye out. Keep your eye on your emails. Keep your eye in the group. Because we might have some little things up our sleeves for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Who knew they were going to be such a big thing? When I started in Manitech, nobody talked about Black Friday. It was just some weird thing in the US where people stood outside Target and Walmart and fought over TVs. Do you know what I mean? But
another US import.
Black Friday, isn't it the 29th, I think, of November, Ilse? But if we do something, we'll probably start it sooner. Because it's too close to end of month. It is too close to end of month. So we might just, again, I'm giving nothing away. Any other questions? I'm happy to answer. Nothing's off the table. Anything you'd like. That's not a question, Rhonda, but I hear you. Yes, you will have a lead in on the weight loss challenge. You will have a lead in on the weight loss challenge. To be fair, we haven't come up with a name for it. I suggested, and I say this as somebody who's lost a lot of weight with our products, I suggested we call it Chubby No More, and they slapped me. I'm kidding. Don't come for me. But sometimes it is what it is, right? Can I tell you, as somebody that's holding more weight than she should be, and somebody that's been a lot larger, it's not like you don't know, right? Like, I'm not talking about body shaming or anything. You know, right?
You're chubby.
Yes.
You know when you're chubby.
No, but at the same time, it is a big deal. It's not easy to do. The support is important. The encouragement is important. Having great products is important. And if you're unaware as to why we put GI Pro in those bundles, go back and look at the first call Uncle Nugent. Well, he's like
Uncle.
Uncle. Dr. Nugent did in January when we brought GI Pro back from back order, because he absolutely nailed the impact it can have in weight loss by having a product like GI Pro. And yes, Kelly, it is hard. There are days you don't want to get out of bed and go for the walk. I was somebody that walked 6 or 7 times a day. I'm not a Judy Abbott, but I was giving it my best go. And there were some days you just think, oh, it's cold. I want to lie in. I want to snuggle with my dog. But sometimes we do have a twin pack of Osling. Yeah, so they're the thing. So we will give you more notice on that. We just putting the last bits together on it because we do want to put that out there. Right. Any other questions? Kelly, hold that thought, right? Just because we have new bundles doesn't mean it's going to mean what it's going to mean for the weight loss challenge. Let me put it that way. Right. Hold that thought. I'm with you.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
You're gonna have them on the edge of their chairs.
Yes. I'm going to put it out there too. We were also asked, I was asked in Brisbane, as actually somebody was leaving, would we ever do a product catalog again? All right. And I'm going to address the fact that we don't ever Manatech the story. Where our aim is to refresh all our product information sheets, description sheets, and FAQs, just to make sure everything is as it should be. And we're possibly going to give them a new look. Once that's complete, we will look at the idea of a product catalog, but it would be a digital flip book. Right. It's not to say we would never do a print at any time in the future, but it has been something we've put on the radar. But as we do a lot of this work behind the scenes and we're trying to clean up where things sit and making sure everything that's up to date is up to date, it would be the natural flow on process. So it is in my head. There's a lot of
There
things
was
in my
a
head.
question I missed. Do they record manifest?
I don't know that actually. I don't know. I'm sure they're probably pushing for in-person attendance first and foremost. I'm not going to lie, it's a very expensive endeavor to broadcast and live stream. Because if you do it on the cheap, there's always something. Even when you spend a lot of money, there can be something. I don't know. But we can, I'll find out. Make a note of that. My instinct says no. My instinct tells me they're going to really want to drive in-person attendance being live streamed. But it's a good question. Okay. Anything else? If you don't ask now, you can't ask any more questions until January.
I can't see anything.
No, that's good.
No. Very full and informative and inspiring call, Sinead. God bless you.
Thank you. Can I leave you with a thought, everybody?
Yes, please.
We look at when we think, because we're in November and we kind of get into that point where we kind of freewheel down the hill. If you've set goals for this year, the year ends on December 31. If you've set goals for this year and you're that close, why start freewheeling now? If you don't think you can make a difference between somebody between now and the end of the year, you need to think again. One of my favorite sayings is, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way you're right. You make that decision. You decide. Yes, of course, you want to take a break. Who doesn't want to be with their friends and their family and their loved ones over the Christmas period, right? Who doesn't want to eat their body weight on Christmas Day? I personally don't anymore, but sometimes you give it a good go. The box of roses comes out and all bets are off, right? We've all been there. But you can set yourself up for success so that on New Year's Eve, you're not stressing in Success Tracker, wondering what your points are like. Get the work done early so you can take a break. But look at it not as a hobby, not as something you do, but look at it from your business with your business hat on. Okay. There's a lot of time between now and the end of the year. I hear the most inspiring stories of people who achieve levels in December, or they signed somebody up on Christmas Eve and it was their next top person, or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, it comes down to you, and it starts and ends with you and what's going on in here. Because you decide whether you're successful and you decide whether you're not. And sometimes that's hard to explain. Somebody said to me once, misery is a choice. And I knew somebody that got very offended by that. We can't control what happens to us sometimes, but we control how we react. When something bad happens, I'm a big believer, have the pity party, don't move in forever. When somebody says no to you, it's not the end of the world. Of course, you've made a connection and you've made a friend and you're disappointed. That's natural. There's almost 27 million people in this country. We've been here 26 years. We haven't spoken to them all, right? I can tell you here and now. We haven't. So I want you to think about what you want to do. I've spoken to some people and somebody said to me, I've got goals. I'm powering through. They mean something to me. And if you don't know why you're doing this, I urge you to go back and think about it. Because when you know why you're doing it, the mechanisms appear, it helps you focus, it helps you stay on track. Why am I doing this? And I'm going to tell you here and now, it's never the money. It's what the money can do for you. And that's different for every person. And it may be, you know what, it may start off with all your tires are going to need replacing on your car and you just need the money to get them. It might be that the credit card balance isn't going down the way you want it to, and it's going to make a difference and going to give you some breathing space. You might want to go and buy the shoes. I'm a big believer. If you want the shoes, buy the shoes. And it might be that one of your kids needs something extra for school, or you might want to look after a parent that needs some extra medical attention, or you want to be able to take some time off work so you can do it. Or it might be just that you want to be able to afford the amount of products you really want to take. So it is whatever it is to you. But we've got 6, 8, 7 weeks left of the year. Make them count. So when you step into January 1, you're set up for the year. And you're not trying to play catch up on the work you did already in 2024 because you kind of let it slide into Christmas. At the end of the day, it's a choice. And only you can decide what's going to work for you. So everybody, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I said, exciting things to come. Fun stuff for next year, a little bit of crazy stuff, but you know. And again, and I can't say this enough, and and Gary, I want to say this because I've said it to Sharon and Diana in person. This call every Saturday has made a difference. This call every Saturday has kept our community together. Through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if you didn't know what to do, you knew you could turn up to a call on a Saturday. If you weren't sure where to ask a question or you weren't sure what was happening, you could call up to a call on a Saturday. It truly makes a difference. And I said to Sharon and Diana, it's become very apparent for me that my job is infinitely easier because of the work that Gary, Diana, and Sharon continue to do, that they started over 15 years ago, they continue to do, and they've been instrumental in keeping this wonderful community together. So honestly, they need to be shown a lot of love, a lot of the time. And when I say a lot of the time, all the time. And I know if you're with me, you're going to put a love heart in the chat for all of them because they are absolutely incredible. And on that note,
thank you, Sinead. We do receive a lot of gratitude, and we love being here. This is, it's part of our weekend.
yes. Oh God, well, you're not even getting one, you're getting a lot of love hearts.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
So
you.
God bless you, Sinead.
My pleasure.
And everybody have a great weekend. Take this forward with you, feel the energy, and we love you all. Bye, everybody. Have a great
Bye.
weekend.